Hello and welcome to my area of interest presentation for assessment task 2, engaging learners, classroom management and neuroscience. My area of interest that I've selected is responsibility theory. So what is responsibility theory? Responsibility theory, or RT for short, was developed by Dr. Ragnar Puget and is an evidence-based teaching and learning strategy aiming to optimize classroom safety, behavior, social support, and engagement. So the background on this theory is quite interesting. Dr. Ragnar, as an early teacher after a career change, was surprised at his early teaching experiences and recognized the futility of forcing students to go to school, paired with the difficulty of getting students to engage. And from this perspective, he was able to identify that there were continued issues of lack of engagement. And through this, he then discovered that the byproduct of that was a lose-lose situation. The teachers ended up stressed, the kids didn't want to be there, and something had to change. The power of responsibility theory. The theory revolves around responsibilities and powers in the learning environment. The theory itself is built upon, I would say, a rhetorical question that is designed to promote a response when asked to students to evoke an effect. Crucially, a range of key questions are modelled around the rhetoric of what am I responsible for and what power do I have? And these what am I responsible and what power are utilised effectively. The approach of responsibility theory. What I really like about this approach to behaviour management is it employs what is primarily a democratic system. It aims to empower students, whereas like a lot of other behaviour management systems almost remove power from students. It has a strong focus on preserving positive relationships and social connections. It doesn't try to isolate. It's trying to include and promote action and accountability. And it's driven by maintaining student autonomy. So crucially, this is seen in we'll talk about this later, concept where Dr. Ragnar talks about if a student is mucking up in class and you recognize that that's happening, then you might say, we'll talk about this after class. And if the student walks away, the conflict ends there. You're not escalating it. You are just trying to maintain students' autonomy of choice and their freedoms as such. Influence. Dr. Piaget has stated that he is heavily influenced by Dr. William Glasser, and this appears through a lot of responsibility theory. So Glasser, as cited by Piaget and Purnell, precisely explains an individual's motivation, exhibited behavior, and personal attitude has the most powerful influence over a person's thoughts, actions, choices, success, achievement, and learning. And this is really seen throughout the approach of responsibility theory. And as the next slide will say, the inevitable, inevitably and universally, it is the student who is responsible for their thinking, behavior, and learning. And again, this theory and approach continues to aim to empower students to take control over their own potential, and I think that's really exciting. So there are some key aspects, and they promote the ownership of actions, behaviours, attitudes, and learning on all participants' behalves. And I feel like that also includes the teacher. It's quite an empowering model for the teacher to embrace as well. And it promotes student-led learning and high-level thinking and learning. And we can see that through the focuses on the importance of reflection, I'm responsible for my, I have power over my. The I phrase is to self-direct and self-determination, and there's a lot of like focus on self-regulation as well, which is super important for students to build resilience within the classroom. The idea that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, and you cannot learn for anyone else. And Dr. Ragnar talks about that a lot. We'll deal with that later. Again, we'll circle back to what I spoke about moments ago, and it's the importance of preserving students' feeling of freedom and independence. Nobody can learn for the student, and a focus on de-escalating unacceptable and inappropriate behaviour and or avoiding and preventing conflict. And this is at the heart of keeping good social connections between the teacher and the student. So again, I think this really promotes freedom from both the perspective of the student and the teacher. The process of responsibility theory is student focused, however, it empowers the student and the teacher. I feel like it empowers the teacher from a perspective of ensuring that you're modeling you're modeling what you are trying to implement in the classroom. So the key takeaways from this that I think are the most important are the what am I responsible for and what do I have power over statements. The idea of the inevitable and universal. So just to repeat that one again, inevitably and universally, it is the student who is responsible for their thinking, behavior, and learning. And that is really what this theory is trying to instill in the students, is that they are responsible for engaging, they are responsible for their potential, and they have great potential, but that won't be reached if they're not involved. And preserving student autonomy and choice to empower the learner. And I think those are the three most important areas of this theory. So I just want to say thanks for taking the time to watch my presentation. Thank you.